Good morning, noon, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Cheers for checking out this video. Today, we're going to be talking about Pray for the Devil, a 2022 horror film that's been directed by Daniel Stamm, who is known for other exorcism films, like The Last Exorcism from 2010. He seems to like this image quite a lot of the crawling up in the corners, because he's done it in his previous exorcism film, and this one. So I picked this movie because the title made absolutely no sense. Get it? It's Pray for the Devil, like Predator and Prey. However, what do you do at a church? You pray. It's a play on words, right? Get it? It's a play on words. Yeah. Another solid reason that I picked this film. The ratings are terrible. When I saw the Rotten Tomatoes page and I saw the video icon at the top, but we'll give it a go. Long story short, Pray for the Devil is about a woman who's being chased down by a demon. And she's been chased down by this demon for her entire life. This demon possesses her mother in her childhood. This demon is now possessing people in an exorcism school in Boston that she goes to. Why would there be an exorcism school in Boston? And then it turns out that she has had a child that she's had to let go. This child then makes her way back into the main character's life and then becomes possessed herself because the demon is still trying to get her through her child that she's never met. So at the beginning of this film, there's a line that kind of tries to explain why there's an exorcism school in Boston, and it's to do with the amount of people that are calling exorcists.
What has changed is that there are more possessions reported today than at any other time in history.
And I was like, the demand for exorcisms can't be that high. Surely they've got to be going down. Like, less and less people are religious now. A lot more people are atheists and don't believe in spirituality or religion. How are exorcisms in demand? Tell me. So then I've done a little bit of Google research, and on YouGov America, and apparently more than half of Americans, 51%, believe in possession. What the fuck? But strange statistics from crap websites. We're going to forget about that for the moment. We're going to crack on and look at the film. So our first scene starts with a flashback, because we love a flashback for context. We are introduced to the main character, who's a little girl, and her mum. The second I saw this, I was like, no, she's not possessed. She's just got quite a bad case of schizophrenia. And it looks like she loves metal. Get this woman to a Slayer concert, put her in the pit. She could just go around like nutting people and she will be fine. Then we get a flash forward to the present day. Suspicions confirmed. Mother's a schizophrenic.
She was eventually diagnosed with schizophrenia.
See it straight away. So this looks like it's all being explained in some sort of therapy session. And then we get the main tool of contention, which is the brush. Don't brush my hair, mother. And then she starts getting a bit violent with it. Got to get those knots out somehow, man. So this boosts us straight into possession. Apparently there are more possessions happening in 2023. Don't know how. But then again, 51% of Americans believe in possession. So I think these are probably just crazy people in the street. Call them some sort of medical service, wherever you are. You see people acting mad, they're probably not possessed. They're probably just having some sort of mental breakdown. In the Vatican, they train priests for exorcisms. Okay. Now, for some reason, of all places, they've opened a school in Boston. And then we get a quick explanation why nuns can't be exorcists as well. Because I'm guessing having a horror film these days isn't enough, and you need to have some sort of social struggle. And this film has gone with gender inequality. Fair enough. We'll see how it pans out. Then we're introduced to one of the main teachers in all of this, and I find him hilarious.
I need 2 volunteers.
He puts some of the students in such crap positions and he just lets them crack on with it. It's hilarious. So then we take a look at downstairs. The potentially possessed. So they have a series of patients along a corridor that looks like an extremely expensive private hospital. And they're taking care of all of these people that are either quote unquote possessed or mentally ill. I think at this point they're gauging whether they're actually possessed or mentally ill or not. I don't know how the families are like, yep, okay, my Uncle Dave is kind of mental. He's gotta go to this church now. Take me to church. Not the hospital. Send him to the priest. Oh, yeah. So we see Nurse Anne doing her rounds, played by actress Jacqueline Byers. We then meet the young girl who is obviously going to get possessed because that's how these exorcism movies work. Child, young adult, eventually gets possessed. They were cute and now they are literally ugly demon thing. The child's name is Natalie. She's played by actress Posey Taylor. Nurse Anne manages to swindle her some sweets. So this is what raises the next set of questions for this film. She's suspected of being a demon or possessed, whichever you prefer. Why is she not locked down, like properly? We then get the very scripted alone in the dark moment. Nurse Anne is reminiscing over her comb of torture, and then demons appear. But does she notice them? No, it's too early in the movie for that. We need to work up to that. We then move into the next day. All of the creepiness is going on. Nurse Anne is back doing her rounds on the next day. And then we get Natalie. Somehow has managed to get out of a very secure room. We see they need key cards to get in and out of them. However, it's not an issue for Demon Girl. And what I find funny is Anne finds absolutely no issue with this. Don't worry, potentially possessed evil demon person. I don't like the room. Mate, well, I wouldn't worry about that because you're phasing through the doors and shit, dude. I think this bit just tickled me. She go wherever she wants in the exorcism school. Why doesn't she just leave? If she's a demon, I thought they were supposed to hate the churches, and yet she stays. I don't get it, but maybe she has a deeper purpose. When asked, what you doing or how you getting out of the room, the simple answer was, I wanted to find you.
I wanted to find you.
Nope, it's creepy. Just go back. So Nurse Anne just takes her back to her room. Doesn't report it to anyone. Not like, yo, we got a demon girl that's phasing through walls. Nope, just takes her back. And that's that. We then get introduced to some golem noises.
Where would you be without me? Ellen, Ellen.
But this actually turns out to be a lesson on demons making noises and speaking in Latin and all that kind of fun stuff. And then Nurse Anne gate crashes the class. I wonder if she's paid tuition fees. I wonder if that is such a thing. You know what? I'm going to look it up. One quick Google search later. If you're a part of a seminary, you can then go for 8 to 10 years training and heavy prayer and then become an exorcist. Cool story. This line just had me cracking up when I heard it.
It's a dance.
And then it instantly made me think of someone doing this. Along with words of God is your weapon of power. And it just made me think of the Power Clash competitor. Again, All Exorcist, the film. Yes, the US's #1 hit show, The Voice, wants to see you. When I just see the voice everywhere in this film, I did just think of the singing TV show.
Come up to me, yeah.
We then fall into the scene of Sister Anne can't do it. She's a nun. No exorcism classes for her. Obviously kind of segregating female and male. Can work, can't work. Qualities in exorcism. It's a strange setting to see in a horror film, but these old-fashioned kind of practices are still around in certain religious institutions. So it's a fitting setting. It's not totally out of place, but in a horror film, is it really needed? We then cut to Sister Anne doing Sister Anne things, looking after the patients. We then hear the creepy songs over the radio. Even though it's 2022 in this film, we can't help but having creepy old radio in the church. But then again, I don't think it would have the same kind of tone if it was playing Cardi B. Imagine this scene with Cardi B playing in the background. And then we get introduced to one of the funniest scenes. When I saw this, I was just like, oh no. It's going to be one of those films that wants to be scary, but is more funny than anything else. I don't know what it is, but whenever I see a tongue scene in like one of these demon films, and you just see the demon kind of like shaking their head from left to right, their tongue out, doing some mad demon shit, I'm just like, oh god. And then this guy's tongue just keeps coming. It's like Gene Simmons from Kiss. It's just the tongue that doesn't end. Well, he may be amazing with the ladies. Then we're getting more into the realms of tentacle stuff. And I just, the demon's eyes then go all white. Of course they do, they always do. And then he spits out the "let me in," which we'll hear a fair few times through this film. And then the dance. Only 2 scenes ago it was...
It's a dance.
One more thing I don't get about this film. If these people are so dangerous because they're possessed or mentally ill to the point where people think they're possessed, why are they getting one-on-one treatment with a single female nurse instead of there being orderlies and people around to make sure that shit doesn't kick off? Little bit of logic goes a long way. Also, shout out to Sister Anne. I think she's wearing DMs. Solid choice. Sister Anne then yeets him, and then he becomes a normal old man then. And he's like, oh my god, what happened? What did I do? It wasn't me, I swear. We then get a quick story pushing scene. People have a meeting. They're like, oh my god, the demon is targeting Anne. And then our main teacher man, he's like, yeah, dude, our teacher is cool. And that's that, really. So Sister Anne turns up to class the next day. Everyone seems pretty welcoming. They're a bit like, oh, cool, there's a girl here. And then the class goes on. And they go down and tangle with their first ever demon. This line...
Let's descend into the mouth of hell, shall we?
You really going into the mouth of hell? This guy, he went into the mouth of hell. You're dealing with mentally ill people that are locked up. So the class now goes down into the second basement. The first basement is where they kept the people to treat them. Now they go down to the basement. This is where they keep the real mentally ill demon people. When we get down there and see the patient, who do we see? The little girl that we've been building rapport with, Natalie. She's drawing pictures on the floor. Oh my god, how demonic could that be? Well, a lot of the moments in this scene were taken and advertised in all of the trailers. So I love how the teacher just throws 2 students straight under the bus.
I need 2 volunteers.
It's like, yeah, we've got to keep this demon down here in this super secure area because she's a super massive danger, but I'm not going in there. Yeah, don't watch me. John, Larry, you were good students. You guys, I've been teaching you in class. Off you go, have fun. In what world, in what other institution of learning would they ever do anything like this? So because it's still quite early in her possession, she doesn't look ultra demony like the Deadites would. I swear, like the Deadites go from 0 to 100 in like a click. It's insane. She's got a few bruises, welt spoils, marks around the face. It's alright. And then she does the crab walk. The crab walk up the wall. It looks janky, but whatever. It'll do. It serves its purpose. But it also reminds me of a TikTok that's going viral. So rightfully so, the students are like, yo, what are we doing here? And then the teacher comes back with a simple, pray together. So they start crying this pray at this demon girl that is in the corner. And the lights start flickering and all the fucking horror movie tropes that come out of that. So the girl's up there snarling, growling, and making all kinds of dog noises.
Into the depths of hell!
And in the midst of all of that, her face gets worse. She gets all like this red stuff all over it, like veiny and bruised or whatever. And then she says, Una chica. Una chica. He's saying that's a character Father Dante, whose sister's recently been... and she didn't have the baby. So what this girl here is saying is the baby would have been a girl. That's why he's all like, surprised Pikachu face. Oh my god, she knows. It must be the work of the demon. She then jumps down, walks straight over to the two-way mirror, and looks straight at Sister Anne. Ooh, menacing. How does she know she's there? Demon power. And then maggots start crawling out of her hands where her eyes are covering up. The demon then plays peekaboo, and then she says the famous line that everybody else has said in this film. Starting to turn into the Eric Andre show. So finally the teacher decides to step in, and then he hits him with the power of Christ compels you, basically, which is followed up by the girl disappearing under the bed. It's like she's laying flat belly on a skateboard and it's just being pulled under the bed. That's how I can imagine them doing this practical effect. And then we build suspense. She teleports and now she's in the bed. Ooh. But she's not in the bed. Oh. And then other demon shit happens. The teacher gets whooped. And then Natalie shows that she does hell a lot of yoga. I don't know how they done this. Maybe there's a contortionist. Maybe there is CG. I don't know. But I feel like the folding people effects in this movie is actually pretty creepy. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. The demon then stares out Sister Anne. So Sister Anne then enters the room. And then she's like, Natalie, you remember me? Come on. Yeah, we're friends. The demon's just there, like kind of growling, snarling, clicking its teeth. And I'm just like, what is this? Surely the demon has like something more profound to say after stalking this woman for like her whole entire life. But no, it just clicks its teeth. Oh Christ. The demon then starts suffocating and choking on its own hair. Everyone tries to save her. I thought the tug of war with the hair and the demon was jokes. We then get jump scared by a demon hand out of her mouth. And then everything appears to be fine. How? It just is now. The demon hand has gone back in. When I initially saw this, I thought it was sticking a demon middle finger up at him, but it wasn't. We then get the drawing of, again, what we said earlier about the pregnancy and Father Dante's sister. We then get congratulations drinks for sorting out the demon in a single fight. Well done. We then get a dream scene where she dreams a mother under some cloth, and this makes me think, oh my god, this demon is secretly Freddy Krueger. It's nightmares. It's attacking through the nightmares. It's Nightmare on Elm Street, but in Boston, with demons and churches and exorcist schools. Oh my god. Then something questionably dumb happens. Again, this is the second time this has happened in this film. Sister Anne goes in to this clearly possessed girl's room alone. Again, she's already been into someone's room when they've been possessed. Granted, they didn't know he was on the higher level, so they may have thought that he'd been safe and just a bit mental. But then he attacked her. She went in there alone. She's gone in here now, alone. And what does she get? Whilst in there and speaking to the girl, they also bring up the hit show The Voice.
Voice.
He told me to burn things.
We then reach into why Sister Anne thinks she was successful. She says it's because she's a friendly exorcist, and it shows a little montage of Sister Anne showing that she plans to prioritise the victims of these things to depossess them. She's then passed her level 100 sneak and gains access to files that she shouldn't have, which tell her that a majority of the people that go to the Vatican, who are the high priority evil demon people, a majority of them are deceased. They die because of the possession, and then she finds one who hasn't. When she finds out who this is, she does a bit more digging. She then finds interviews with this woman, and she's CG missing half of her face. Finally, she's restricted access to the demonic people. Good. More for her own safety. Who would have thought it? And then she gets a bit annoyed about it. She goes up and tells Mr. Teacher Man, hey, look, maybe we should do my approach. It works. I reached out to her. The church way doesn't work. Mine does. I've only tried it once, and we still don't know whether she's possessed or not. You know, you go in, you speak to the victim, offer a cup of tea, say that you hear them, and it's all fine. Then she's faced with the ultimatum of you either do it the church's way, it's been going on for thousands of years, or you can leave and do it on your own. Then we get Father Dante, who approaches Sister Anne, and then he's like, oh yeah, remember my sister that I told you about? I said that she was possessed, but the people here, they don't care and they don't want to help. So you, the person who dealt with the demon yesterday, who we still don't know whether it was a demon or not, can you come and save and exorcise the demons from my sister? We'll do it on the queue. We won't tell the church. Which then goes into the exorcism. I think this scene has some pretty cool moments. There's a face where the demon girl pulls this demonic smile and look, like with a little bit of prosthetics and makeup and something around the eyes. This could have been super creepy. Of course, they mention the hit show The Voice. They can't fucking help mentioning The Voice.
The voice.
And then something that did make me laugh about this scene is the fan. Oh my god, it starts speeding up to like a jet engine turbine speed. The demon then gets pregnant instantly, right in front of them. There's a little demon baby crawling around inside. The fan's going faster. The fan starts breaking off. Bits of fan blades just all over the room. And I'm just like, oh, one of these fan blades gotta hit someone, come on. So it can take Father Dante. I don't mind. I just want to see a fan blade that's made of wood just absolutely someone. But one of the fan blades does manage to impale my main man, JC. Then again, exorcism 2 for 2. Success. Perfect. How have the Vatican been doing it so wrong for so long? I thought this scene was alright. I would have liked for the demonic entity to make her more demonic looking, possibly a bit more Deadite-like. And my one gripe with these things is whenever they become unpossessed, or the demon quote unquote leaves them and shit, all of the scars, all of the marks, all of the demon looking shit that happens to them goes away as well. On the fire exit, we then get that Father Dante was an ex-gang member, the Gangs of Christ, and just start up their own little gang. Then we get the story behind Sister Anne and her baby having to give it up to become a sister. One thing that our attention keeps getting drawn back to is the brush. The brush is a serious cause of trauma for Sister Anne. So why does she keep it? I don't get it. It's just weird. And this eye bogey, why? What purpose does it serve? Other than it being slightly creepy? Does it serve as any plot device? I don't know. I don't think so. But here we are with eye bogeys. We get the obligatory, you're alone in a room, here's a creepy person's silhouette. And then we move into the next scene where Sister Anne gets hit with the bad news that Father Dante's sister had killed herself as a result of the exorcism, according to the church. So Sister Anne says that she wants to go back with the Sisters of St. Mary. One thing that I don't get, the church have denied Father Dante's sister, saying that they're not going to do anything, they don't believe she's possessed, or they just don't want to deal with the demon that has possessed her. One or the other. So if they had no interest in doing anything and exorcising this demon, what's the problem with them doing it themselves? So Sister Anne is brooding. She gets a book from a therapist about helping people, and then we're back in the garden. Father Dante comes up and he's like, yo, he says that Natalie's had a relapse. This is where the movie just starts to take a really big dip. So we're treated to Natalie's trip to the hospital or the exorcism school, one or the other. So she's in an ambulance. This ambulance has a priest in it. I don't know where they got a spare priest from. I'm gonna hope and assume that he was just at Natalie's house doing an exorcism anyway, and he got in the ambulance with him. Another thing about the ambulance ride, everyone in the ambulance is dead. It's burnt out from where she set it on fire, and the ambulance driver he doesn't call the fire brigade, he doesn't do anything like that. He just thinks, oh, I've got to get to where I've got to go, and dies. Then I don't think they go to the hospital, because out the back of this building, a load of priests come out. Why would the priests be waiting at the hospital? It's weird. And then the next scene, it just cuts to Natalie being in like the catacombs under the exorcism school anyway. And then you see Natalie, she's just sat there with a set of prayer beads in her hand, and then this is where the big revelation comes out that we've all known it's coming. Natalie is my daughter.
I am your father.
So we've now got Sister Anne, who's a priestess, exorcist. There's a well, baptized well. And then we've got the baby beads for invitation. And another thing that I've noticed about this whole situation and this whole point of the story, why is it only the fucking students again? You've got someone that's now killed multiple people who is possessed. What's going on? Why isn't there some senior leadership here? Why is it just the students? It's like watching Scooby-Doo dealing with a real mystery. But instead of it just being, oh my god, god, it's Mr. Davis from the theme park. No, this is a real fucking demon that's burning people alive in ambulances. But don't worry, if we just get Scoob and the gang to deal with it, that's all this lot need. They need a dog, then they'll be like Mystery Inc. I can get behind that for this last scene for this movie, because it's just, whatever. My suspension of disbelief can only stretch so far. I think the makeup in this scene kind of sucks. The battle of emotions, the power of love, you know it to be true, fighting for your feelings and all that kind of stuff is a bit like, whatever. So the demon and Sister Anne, they kind of have a therapy session talking about trauma, talking about, oh my god, why'd you give up your baby? You can't be responsible for another life, etc. yada yada yada. A hug is then given, and what happens after that hug? Natalie is no longer a demon. Look at her face. Oh my god, there's a couple of scratches, but it's no longer a demon face. Then we go into demon priestess Sister Anne, which is short-lived. With her last little bit of breath, Sister Anne's like, run away! And then she proceeds to do some aerial demon yoga. Sister Anne then uses the demon force to force push Father Gabriel. The head peel, when I saw this head peel, it made me laugh. Like a dance move from Thriller. And here we come to the climax of the movie. Sister Anne then takes her own advice and lets go of trauma. She has her own mental fight from within. So we see an internal conflict where Sister Anne is basically, in a really goofy, stupid way, is exercising herself. Her mouth does the wide open demon, widey openy mouthy thing. She gets her cross, puts it into her head, does more demon yoga. So not only is she exercising the demon away from her, but the demon is also helping her exercise herself. While all of this is going on, she's making Call of Duty zombie noises. And then, yeah, she eventually manages to exercise the demon with demon yoga and does some sort of really tight backflip into the holy water. This whole scene is just, why? This demon is so fucking useless. Oh god. Then Sister Anne rises to the top of the water and gets dragged out by Father Dante. All happy families. Is there a creepy end twist? No. She doesn't let Natalie know that she's her mum. Good. That would have been a bit of a dick move. By the way, not only was you possessed and gone through all this trauma, you were also adopted. You know how I know? You're my daughter. The demon that possessed you told me. Sister Anne then gets a fellowship in exorcism. She goes to the Vatican. She packs her bags and she's like, yep, thank you everybody for everything. But I've proved you wrong. I exorcised myself. I got myself possessed and I exorcised myself. How many of you motherfuckers can say that? Oh, it's so fucking dumb. And then we get expositions and lines and like, the devil knows you now. This is a cool thing. It's like, yeah, you're an exorcist. The devil knows you now. The devil better watch out for you. And then we get the cab scene. The driver gets possessed or turns into like some sort of demon, and so does the woman in the street. My ideas for what would have made this scene like 1,000 times cooler. The interview videotape of the woman where she pulls off her face as a result of what the demon has done to her. If that woman would have been outside the cab and she pulls off her face and she's like, there is no exorcisms, that could have been cool. But instead what we get is Mrs. Priestess Exorcist reaches for her cross and she's ready for battle with the devil. She's good to fight. And that's the end of the film. What did I think of this film? I picked it out so that I could make this video making fun of this film. Mission success. However, is it absolutely terrible? No. There are terrible films out there. This isn't one of them. Is it a good film? No. Not by any stretch. It is full of quite a lot of generic horror cliches. The feminist exorcist approach, it was kind of cool. Okay, I can get behind that. It didn't really play out too much. But the fact that there's a school of exorcists, it could have been like the Harry Potter trilogy of exorcisms and demons and shit. That could have been cool. But instead, we got this. Logic was faltering a lot of the time with different things. Like, you're dealing with all of these high-risk possessed people. Why are you letting nurses go into these rooms alone? You use your students as cannon fodder. It's hilarious to watch. But you're training these people up for years and years. And you're just like, oh yeah, just go in the cell with the demons. Don't worry, it's fine. I mean, none of the students are this guy. Those are my thoughts on this film. It's not bad, it's not good. It lies somewhere in the lower middle. It's below okay. Would I watch it again? No. Do I think that it is a cheap rip-off of The Exorcist? In some aspects, yes. What do I think could have made it better? Well, I suggested the cab scene. I think better makeup would have done wonders. And I think if the demon was a lot more of a threat, that could have been really cool as well. I feel like the demon was a bit of a pushover. I got a feeling that it's probably because it wanted to keep whatever rating it has. Let's have a look. What rating does it have? Yeah, I imagine that it's done this to keep its 15 rating. There's not a lot of blood, there's not a lot of gore. The horror in it is quite tame, so I imagine it's just to keep its 15 rating to sell it to the audience that it wants to sell it to. So yeah, that's Pray for the Devil. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this, please do like, comment, subscribe. If there's a discussion to be had, I do talk back in the comments, and I will be releasing more videos soon. So if you did like the content, obviously subscribe. You'll see some more.